Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to the channel. My name is John Kelly and this is the Mediocre Modeler. But as you can probably see, we're not at the bench today, we're actually out on a field trip. We are out and about. Well, why are we out and about? Well, there was a stellar alignment. Three things came into clear alignment which presented an opportunity. It was just too good to miss. So number one, I had to go and get a vehicle from work this morning. So that's a little bit boring and not particularly interesting, but nevertheless that was the first thing that I had to do. Now that place I was picking it up from coincided with a model kit that I had been keeping my eye on Facebook Marketplace. So there were two things. I thought, right, here we go. Number one, go and get the wagon. Number two, go and pick up the model kit. Now, what's the model kit? Well, we'll have a little look at that in just a tick.
What about breakfast?
We've already had it.
We've had one, yes. What about second breakfast?
Okay, so serendipitous thing number two. Here's the model kit. Well, look at that bad boy. That is the Airfix 176 D-Day Operation Overlord, and usually retails for about 70 quid, 60 or 70 quid, and I managed to get it on Marketplace for 30. You get an awful lot of stuff in there. What we got? We got a German coastal fortifications. We got a load of German grenadiers there. That's a Cromwell, I think. Bedford, Willys Jeep. We've got a Sherman there giving it beans as it's coming off the beach. And also we've got two landing craft. I think it's probably the Higgins boat. So the landing craft is sort of personnel. And then there is a bigger landing craft there, which I think is meant to be a landing craft tank. So that's serendipitous thing number two. Let's go and have a look at number three. So thing number three, I'll just give you a minute there, just have a little look in the background just to see if you can guess where I am. Any thoughts, please pop them in the comments. So this is serendipitous thing number three, bearing in mind that we've just picked up the Airfix Operation Overlord. So here we go. In Star Wars style, I'm now walking down the length of the landing craft tank. This is the landing craft which is now positioned outside the Overlord Museum in Portsmouth. So that's where we're going to have a little look today. We are going to go and have a look around the museum, but specifically I want to get on the landing craft, tell you a little bit about its history, and also a little personal connection that I have to it. So just have a little sweep around. It is massive. I mean, these things are really colossal. It's a big bit of kit. I mean, it's the only surviving example of a landing craft tank. So I don't know if you can see the full size of it there. We'll just take a walk down the stern end. So I mean, just how big is that? LC T7 074. That is a massive bit of kit. So like I say, this is the last surviving landing craft tank from the D-Day landings, so it's a veteran of the Second World War. It carried 10 tanks across the English Channel and landed on Gold Beach in Normandy, which I think actually occurred on D-Day. It is colossal. Okay, so let's go and have a little look around the museum. We're in. I got me a badge. What does a badge give you? Well, it gives you access to the landing craft, so that's where we're going to have a little look at now. Just on my left, this is the wall of remembrance, of course. It's a memorial there to people and the families that sort of gave their lives on June the 6th, 1944. Poignant reminder, as ever, of the cost of war and the cost of liberation in Europe. Now I do have a little personal connection to this particular landing craft. which I'll talk about just as we get into the gate. I'm just going to flip this around just so you can have a look at the main ramp. So there we go. I don't think they're armed guards on the gate. I think they are, hopefully they're just sentries just to keep an eye on me. So there we go. Have a little look. I'll just pause it there. Okay, so yeah, my little personal connection to this. It is the last surviving example of a landing craft tank. Now, after the end of the war, of course, most of these things were just cut up or scrapped or used as barges for towing stuff around. This one ended up in my hometown of Liverpool, and from about the 1960s onwards, through the 70s and into the 80s, it was a nightclub. It used to be called the Landfall, and I remember it. I remember going on it. I was a bit young, well, not that young, I was probably mid-teenager, and my uncle used to take me to go and have a little look at the landing craft. Now, it had a bit of a sad demise after that, of course, because it sank in its moorings in sort of Wallasey docks. It just went down, and then they decided to raise it. I think it's about 2010. No, 2014. I think it sank 2010. They lifted up in 2014, and then they whacked it on a massive sort of dry dock barge, whizzed it round to Portsmouth, stuck it on a set of electronic wheels, drove it down the parade here, and parked it outside the D-Day Museum. And so that is where it's at. So it's a fascinating bit of history here. It wasn't D-Day itself it was involved in. It landed its tanks, so it unloaded its cargo on the 7th of June. After that, it was used as actually a prison barge. So German prisoners that were captured at Normandy, they were stored on here as well as kind of the prison. So let's take a little walk around. The guards on the gate were extremely friendly. I'm not armed, which was nice to see. Okay, so this is the main sort of storage deck, if you like. I'm going to call it the tank deck, and you can see there are a couple of tanks positioned on it. Now, these weren't driven in before you had this beautiful wave-like structure. These were craned over the top and put in place. Now, this looks like 7th Armoured? 7th Armoured, is it? Yeah. Desert Rat, yeah. Yeah, so this has been painted up in the colour of 7th Armoured, the Desert Rats, as they were known. Now, it looks at first glance like a Sherman, and it is a Sherman. It is definitely a Sherman, but this is the Canadian version. This is actually a Grizzly, so these were made under licence in Canada. Thousands were made. So this one has been restored, craned in, but it's actually painted up in the colours, like I say, of 7th Armour. Okay, so the second tank that they've got on the tank deck here is a Churchill. Alright, I'm going to say it's a Mark 7, but I might be wrong there. But the interesting thing about it is this is a Churchill Crocodile, so it's the flamethrower variant of the main battle tank. And it's a beast. This is proper, and I mean proper, British heavy metal. So the guns on the Crocodiles were used; they were fitted, and so it wasn't a dummy barrel there. So it was a flamethrower variant, and obviously these things would tow a tender out the back. Apparently they do have the tender here, but it's not hitched up at the moment. In terms of the history of this tank, though, they don't know. It's painted up to, I think, represent the 141st Regiment of the Royal Armoured Corps, I think. But it's kind of like the Grizzly behind me. It's painted up to represent a specific tank, but the actual tank isn't that, if that made any sense at all. It's a beast. Right, so we're just going to have a little whirlwind tour, I think, through the decks. Not going to spend too long in here.
worked in here. Yes. Directly above is the wheelhouse, where the cox keeps toes steered. The house is made of ship. Above the wheelhouse is a bridge. And there,
Okay, so it has actually been restored really nicely. It's painted in its original colours, grey and white, sort of disruptive pattern. That would make it more difficult to see, certainly from a distance. Hello. So around we go. Yeah, wow, look at this. I mean, as brave as the lads were, the soldiers and the tankers who dropped off this boat. So I mean, you've got to give a thought to the crew as well. They would have been under heavy enemy fire. There's no doubt about it. I'm not a military historian by any shape or form, but I am history curious. Let's have a little look through here. So that's the cabin's bunk. He's got his brew, got his butties, got his chamber pot. Cosy, I guess. Little galley, bacon and eggs, potatoes, fine fare to go to war on. Nice little galley there, again quite cosy. And this is the sort of, I guess you call it a wardroom, I suppose. This is where the crew would meet and eat. Back out into the sunshine, and here we are at the back of the deck. There's the capstan. I think you can get up on top because I want to go and have a look at those anti-aircraft gun. Maybe not that way. Let's wander around here, see what we've got. Oh, bag of potatoes. Here's another two very friendly guards, unarmed.
Unarmed, yes.
Right, I'll just pop up. Thank you.
There, yeah.
Top deck. So we've got all the gubbins. There's your signal flags. I don't know what you call these tubes. Voice tubes, signal tubes. Shout down there to the guy at the helm. This I think might be a map case. Yeah, there we go. Don't know how well you can see in there. That's a map case. Moving completely to the rear now. I'm not sure I'm going to get in that way. No, let's go around the back. Yeah, that's a bit tight. So these are all the comms, I think, 20mm. So there were twin, well, not twins, but they had two turrets. So there's one. Let's get a good sight up on there. There we go. Get your aircraft lined up on that and give it beans. So they had one port, one starboard. So it was armed. And actually from up here you do get an amazing view there of the tank deck. Absolutely incredible. Now not all the LCTs were full tanks, there were others, other variants. There was the LCT-R, which was essentially fitted out with batteries of rockets. So it was a mobile artillery platform. It'd move into the beach, it'd fire off its salvos of rockets to provide fire support. others were used to deploy personnel as well, so obviously you can get a lot of soldiers on here. So it wasn't just tanks that was used for, there were plenty of other things. But an incredible bit of kit, and as I say, just bring back some real childhood memories of Wallasey Docks and my uncle going to see that. I guess no shot of a boat, ship or boat would be complete without a quick peek at the heads. And here they are. I'm going to call that functional. At least they are definitely there. Awesome Grizzly. Okay, so there we have it. Just leaving the D-Day museum behind us now. I mean, there's way more in Portsmouth. The beautiful south coast city to come and see. Portsmouth Castle is just behind me there. There used to also be the Marines Museum further along that way there. I don't know whether it's still operational or not. That might be something I'll put on my list of things to check out. So I'm just going to wander back to the car now, and I say that there is lots of Normandy memorabilia around here. So the road I'm just about to walk on is the Avenue de Caen, again kind of named after the Battle of Caen. So that's been a nice morning, and like I say, serendipitous. Those three things lined up really well. I got the vehicle, I got my Airfix Overlord kit, and to be honest, that's 12 months of work there for me. The speed at which gonna get hit by a bus, better get out of the way. The speed that I make models, there's enough in there definitely to last me at least another 12 months. I might see if I can get one of them built, maybe one of the landing craft. If I can get that done for June the 6th, that might be appropriate. Right, folks. Well, thanks for dropping in, and I hope you found it interesting. I did. I love that trip down memory lane on the on that landing craft tank. Absolutely fantastic bit of kit. I am going to do a few more of these. There's a couple on my list. I think the next one I'm going to do is going to be titled something like guns, lots of guns, and so we'll go and have a look at a place which has got lots of guns. So thanks again, and if you did like the video, enjoyed the video in any way, then please do give us a like, a thumbs up, or if you're really impressed, subscribe would be really nice. Okay people, thanks for that, and have a great day.